The purpose today is to call out and review and hopefully improve the Endangered Species Act, now 50 years old. Some might say that it's perfect and doesn't need to be changed. Nothing could be further from the truth. And a law, no matter how old, in this case 50 years, is certainly can be improved, and we have all kinds of evidence to suggest how. The bills that we're going to be reviewing today will suggest several approaches to improving the Act. Those who might suggest that this law is perfect need look no further than my state of Oregon to see failures of that law. The simplest failure to call out is the spotted owl misdesignation, if you will, in my state, which caused loss of at least 32,000 jobs in the timber industry, some would say more, and serious damage to many, many local communities. After the damage was done, it was determined that, of course, it wasn't the timber business that was harming the spotted owl significantly. It was the barred owl that was an invasive species that was harming the spotted owl, but too late for the 32,000 that lost their jobs. The same type of description can apply and does apply to the spotted frog, which is in Jefferson County and Deschutes County a little bit, in my district, a little bit in Crook County. And we have some folks visiting from all those thousands of miles away today here in our hearing in the back row, and I'm very happy to welcome them here. They are extraordinarily concerned about the impact that the spotted frog will have on their ability to continue to irrigate hundreds, if not thousands of acres of land that are producing some of the most important seed crops in the United States. And this type of damage based upon a science that is questionable in application is all too prevalent in the use of the Endangered Species Act. So again, those who would say that this law is perfect are wrong. And I want to repeat, any law can be improved, and that's what we're about. This is the first hearing that we will hold on the E.S.A., but certainly not the last. We will have discussions about how to make this law work better. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about how we're trying to repeal it, gut it, destroy it. That is not the case. What we're trying to do is make this law work better. One of the parts of the discussion has to be the cost of implementation of this bill. So, for example, the spotted frog, it is estimated that by one of the agencies in charge of trying to figure out what to do with it, that it's going to cost well over $2 billion to save the spotted frog. Now, I have nothing against the spotted frog, but it's one species of somewhere between 3 million and 30 million species. I looked up last night to see how many there were. And of course, 97% of those are invertebrate, but the other 3% are those that this bill focuses most upon. The question is, how much money can this nation spend on recovering these species? The spotted frog, I want to say 9 billion, but I could be off on those numbers. How much can we afford to spend? And that issue will also be coming up in these discussions. No conversation, if you're from Oregon, is complete without talking about the Klamath. The Klamath is down adjacent to California, and it's a challenged river in many respects because much of its water goes to Southern California. And so the challenge there is, how do we appropriately balance the farmers that live upstream from the stretch of river that has salmon in it, and how do we balance the use of water that goes into a lake that has the suckerfish in it, both endangered. And that balance seems to be sadly missing. What our committee is going to focus upon is the inappropriate allocation of cost to communities in rural Oregon. And I'll just say, you don't see too many wolves wandering around in downtown LA. You don't see too many grizzly bears in downtown New York. So it's easy for folks in those spaces to suggest changes to areas, or restrictions to areas, or damage to areas that are far from their homes. And we will be talking about that also. So it's my hope that these conversations will lead to improvements in this act. And I look forward to the conversations today, and of course look forward to what the witnesses have to say.